Welcome everyone to this month's Astrocolorscope. My name's Elizabeth Harper. My website is sealedwithlove.com. So the idea of the Astrocolorscope is that in a moment I'm going to pick some crystals from this bag, throw them into a circle of houses, and then read the crystals, the colors, the energy of the house, etc., specifically for your sign. I'm also going to take a bead from my bead bag just for a little extra influence of color, see what else is going on. Then I'm going to, I like doing things in threes, then I'm going to pick a card from the Voyager deck for your sign, and I'm going to ask you to take a look at the card and see what you are most attracted to in the collage of images, and then ask you what that means for you. Of course, I'll read whatever I see in that card as well, so we can put it all together for your particular sign. So before we get there, we're just going to have a little look at what's going on this month. So to begin with, we have one of the big things is Mercury is going retrograde on the 19th of May. And of course, you know, retrograde actions happen all the time. But when it's Mercury, it's like one of those big deals, isn't it? That everything starts to move backwards. So it's in Gemini, which is its natural placing. So there's a sense of, it almost feels like, okay, so I'm going to be moving backwards a little bit through this sign because I love it so much. Communication slows down when Mercury starts to retreat. But in Gemini, there's almost a sense of calming down. There's almost a sense of, you are given this time to really focus on what it is you want to say, how you want to be perceived in this lifetime, let's say, how you want to communicate with your loved ones, with your friends, with the world, how you want to write, how you want your language to be. So you might find that this is a time where you want to write, where you want to write more, where you want to journal more, especially with Mercury, because it is a planet of communication, but because it's in Gemini, there's almost that sense of double communication that's coming up. So you might find yourself just retreating a little bit more. You may also find yourself biting your lip before you can communicate with somebody, or that you want to say something to someone and they're off somewhere else, and it's a little bit more difficult to communicate with them. Of course, traditionally with Mercury, it sort of messes up with the technical stuff. So, you know, computers and cell phones and all this kind of thing can be a little bit out of whack, and especially if we've got any sun action going on that's going to send that our way, and then of course communication will have some problems then too. We've also got around the 13th to the 15th, we've got Mars, which is opposing Saturn, and Mars is a fiery planet. It's fire and it's action and it gets things moving, whereas Saturn, it's slow, it grounds you, it makes you really think before you take action. So with these two planets sort of opposing each other, it's almost like two people. So one person saying, let's do it, let's go for it, and the other person saying, no, we need to take our time. So there's a sense with this of push, pull, and you may have difficulty with decisions, especially as that Mercury is coming up. I know Mercury is coming up before the 19th, so you get that kind of preparatory, what is that word? Preparing action before the actual Mercury retrograde. So with Saturn and Mars opposing each other, and then we have the Mercury coming in as well, there's a sense of this month that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to make decisions, to really take action, to really move forward. So there's a lot of things that are pulling us back. Towards the end of the month, there's Mars again square Neptune, and Mars is the fiery energy and Neptune is the watery energy, but Neptune it links with your imagination, with that vision. You know, it's a Pisces energy, so we can go off into la la land, whereas Mars wants you to get moving. So there's movement in your feelings, movement in your emotions, and there's almost a sense with this of forgotten feelings. So something that's been stuffed down is going to start coming up again. This is perfect because of that Mercury retrograde, because we are going to go more inside of ourselves, communicate with ourselves, communicate with our emotions. So I can feel that coming up in me as well, which is kind of interesting. So there's a sense of, this is a wonderful month, but we're going very much into ourselves and we're bringing stuff out. And then we're going to be thinking about how to move forward. Am I ready to move forward? It's going to be a little bit slow, but there's a lot going on internally. So, okay, let's get on with your birth sign. Let's get started. Okay, so Libra. So for you, you have this smoky quartz that went into your second house. And smoky quartz, you know, I have, years ago, I used to connect to people one-on-one, go into their energy field, and then draw the energy that I saw. And this one lady was wearing a smoky quartz pendant. I could not get into her energy field. It wouldn't let me in unless I asked permission. And, you know, once I asked permission, it was okay because it kind of clocked me. It was really interesting. And I feel that that is what this is about. You are protected. You're always protected. People have to ask their permission to connect with you, to come into your home, to come into your environment, that kind of thing. It went into your second house. Your second house is about your possessions. So there's a sense with this that your home is protected, and this is saying it's okay even if there's stuff going on around you. The smoky quartz says you are protected. So even if somebody were to take physical possessions of yours, you are still protected. So know that you have this protection. This stone is saying you're protected. It's very translucent, so it has this brown grounding vibe that goes with it. When you are grounded in this present moment, that is when you are most protected. So it's a little bit like being a tree. When you're rooted into the earth, you're protected. When you don't have your roots in the earth, oh my goodness, you know, you're all wobbly. So this is also saying it's a good thing this month to be grounded, to just stay in this present moment. Don't focus too much on the future. Don't worry about things that have gone in the past and that are coming up in the future. Stay in the now. This is where your power is. Felt like I was lecturing there. So this is Unakite, and Unakite went into your 8th house. This is a kind of green with salmon color, if you can see it. It's like an olive green and a salmon color in there. The 8th house is opposite the 2nd house. So there's something going on that's opposite with these two stones. So this is saying you're protected, you're grounded. This is connecting to that heart energy. It's about vision. In your 8th house, it's about endings and new beginnings. So there's almost a sense of a relationship is coming to an end. There's something that is changing around that heart space. It could also be that you're moving to a new house, or you're changing something within your home, that kind of thing. And it may be that you find something in your home that isn't working, and it's like you didn't realize it wasn't working, and that's part of that protective energy that's coming up. You know, there may have been a feeling of, oh wow, this isn't working, it should have been working, it hasn't been working all this time, you know, and you may feel invaded in some way. I feel that this is saying, though, to have a future vision of how you want your relationships to be, how you want your space, your home to be, and maybe how you want your connection with your family to be as well. It's interesting because I just got this sense of travel with this too. There's a sense of maybe traveling to see family, but I feel like it's further afield. I feel like it's to a place that you've had this desire to go to, and there's almost an exotic feel to it. It may not be an exotic place, but there's just a sense of it feels different. Yeah, interesting. And the final thing I'm getting with this stone, you know, you've got to ask the stone what it wants to tell you. You can read in books what it says, and you can get that information from other people. But the stones themselves tell you, give you more. And this one is saying something about your creativity. It's in your 8th house, which is about the endings, new beginnings, awakening, death, rebirth, etc. But there's also a value in here, and it links to ancestors. So there's some kind of creative energy that is coming from your ancestors. It might be that you're given a painting that comes from your ancestors, but it could also be that you are emerging as an artist, or some kind of creative energy is coming up for you. Oh, I like that. So then the final stone that came up is iolite. This is the iolite. It's blue. Iolites are called water sapphires. It's a lovely blue stone, a lovely blue energy. It went into your 12th house. Your 12th house is often about enemies. It's the last house, it's a Pisces house. So there's that kind of imagination that goes with it. What can we imagine that's really bad or really good? And that would come into that 12th house. So it's like the last lap of something. But I don't feel that there's enemies that come up with this. I feel almost as if it's a deeper vision, a further vision, because iolite is about vision. It's about your true self and expressing your true self. And there's a sense in this that you may have stopped yourself from really expressing who you are. And I feel with this that you are looking around you at the people that you have put a lot of investment in, and they are not necessarily investing in you, and there may be a change with that. So going back to this 8th house of vision and death and rebirth, going back to this with the quartz, with the smoky quartz, and you are protected, it's okay. So with this, there's a sense of not necessarily speaking your truth, but I feel that it's about expressing your true self, really expressing who you are. And in that 12th house, you're gonna find some people that are not gonna like it, but it's important for you to do what is right for you. This is a stone of releasing addictions. So it could have been that you've been addicted to people loving you and liking you, and this is saying now it's time to really be in your truth, really express who you truly are. Yeah, as I'm looking at this, I'm feeling that you're going to see someone or something for the first time for who they truly are as well. And that is going to help you to let go and move on. The bead that came up for you is pink. And pink is the color of unconditional love, but it's also a color that is vulnerable. So it makes you vulnerable. It's the deep heart, the center, the core of your heart. So going back to that smoky quartz, you may feel vulnerable. You may feel like you're exposed, but the smoky quartz is saying it's okay. You're going to be all right. You're not exposed. You are protected. Something's probably exposed, but you're protected. Now, 2 cards came up for you. Just it's like you're getting double dips on the messages. So take a look at those 2 cards and see what you are most attracted to, and then ask yourself, what does that mean? What does that mean? So now let me see. When I look at these cards, the first one, I see all the broken glass. in the first one. You know, there's lots of broken glass, but then I'm thinking to myself, well, do I really need that broken glass? Do I need those glasses? No, I'm going to move on. So this is saying disappointment, but it's also saying, you know, you don't cry over spilt milk, that kind of thing. Let it go. You don't need it anymore. And then this one is synthesis. So with this, I've seen that it looks like a black tourmaline, which has green in the center of it. That's what I'm seeing. And because of course it's 8 of crystals, and that black tourmaline is about anything that, any negativity that comes at you, it doesn't bounce off black tourmaline, it gets absorbed and it's transmuted and changed. So, and then it's taken back into the earth. So it looks almost like, you know, your angels, the divine, your guides are telling you, you are protected, it's okay, you can move forward and really reveal your true self as it's meant to be. Okay, that's it for this month's Astrocolorscope. Hope you've enjoyed it. Do remember to subscribe to my love letter and grab your free colour kit at bit.ly/colour kit. You can find out your true colours. Also, please leave me a comment below. Let me know if the messages resonated for you. And remember, I have my own store. I have lots of goodies in my store. This is one of them. That's store.sealedwithlove.com. And the final thing is, if you want to train with me, come to one of my play shops. I will be teaching an intuition play shop at the Omega Institute in July. You can find out more about that in my love letter. Okay, I will see you next week with the Colorscope, crystal Colorscopes, right? Lots of love. Bye.